we saw this good-looking girl dancing out there on the floor and how she could dance. So we flipped a coin. Sammy won the right to go up and cut in on her. And after he got her phone number, started dating her. That was Lucy. One day she was showing him a picture of three beauties of the 1939 auto show. Lucille Harden was standing in front of a 39 Mercury convertible and there was a beautiful brunette girl sitting on a fender. I said, who is that? Oh, that's my sister. I said, golly, introduce me to her. She said, I will someday. Time went on, school started. I'd call over and I said, I want to speak to Zelda. Well, she's not here, she's tired, she's doing something. Anyway, I was a sports editor for the Lamar paper, so I said, I'm going over to San Jacinto High School and interview the coach over there. Said, okay, you can go, which gave me a hall pass. You couldn't walk the halls in those days without having a pass.
Yeah.
So I went into the office and I found out where Lucille Harden was. And they told me the room number and I walked up there and I went in and waited. She came out and I said, when are you going to introduce me to Zelda? She said, right now. There she is coming down the hallway.
Oh, good timing.
So that happened. I have to tell you another story along with those same lines. Pearl Harbor Day came up, December 7th. I enlisted in the cadets to be an Army pilot. They accepted me and I went to Chickasha, Oklahoma. I became an upperclassman and they wouldn't let cadets get married when I first went in, but they rescinded that order. Upperclassmen cadets get married. So I called Zelda to come up to my dance. So she came up to my senior dance. And my instructor, Charles Fuller, says, where's she going to stay? I said, in a hotel. He said, no, she's going to stay with us. So that made it fine for Zelda and myself. Saturday came up. He said, I'm going to take you around a little while. He took us over to a guy at a jewelry store. This guy said, are you two going to really get married? And Zelda said, yes, we are when he graduates. The guy said, well, pick out your ring now. So Zelda picked out a wedding ring. He said, why don't you get married now? She said, we can't. It's Saturday afternoon. We can't even get a license. He said, I'll take care of that. He called up the county clerk, came down there and issued us a wedding license.
Yeah.
Charles says, well, who's going to marry you? And Zelda says, well, I'm a Baptist. He said, well, so am I. I'll take you by and let our Baptist minister marry you. He did. We got married. And those unexpected things that happen to by the will of God, things happen all the time. We have no control over it if we follow God's will.
But God does.
And we did. May I add one more comment to that?
Keep going.
Many years later, the state of Oklahoma was having a statewide Rotary meeting. So as a Rotarian, we attended this, and there was a group sitting over in the corner. Zelda said, let's go and sit down. We went over there and started introducing herself. She said, who are you? What are you doing? This guy said, I'm from Chickasha, Oklahoma. And Zelda said, well, that's where we got married. She told him the story. This guy jumped up and said, I don't believe it. That jeweler was my daddy. We thought he was lying to us the whole time. But he wasn't. So it worked out again. So that's how things work. But I do thank you all for listening to that story of my life.
First time I've heard it, Arthur.
Well, I figure a lot of you hadn't heard that.
Oh, when he finishes,
You reminded me. We came home, 1945, end of it, and over 46. We were trying to buy a home. They said, you don't have any credit. We can't give you credit for a home. We found a house, and Jill said, would you take cash? She just wrote a check for the house.
How big?
Wow.
And they just capitulated, and they had not surrendered formally. Up comes a major general. He said he wanted to go to Oslo, Norway to see his aunt, who was a sweet girl, Swedish. So I said, okay. My CO said, Arthur, you're going to fly with us? I said, okay. We were flying up the fjord, and we saw this troop ship going up there. We landed in Oslo. We were met by an officer and a whole bunch of Germans at this base. This guy comes out and salutes. He sees that they're major generals, 2 of them. He said, am I supposed to surrender to you? And he said, no, those troops are coming up the fjord. They'll be here in a couple of days. This guy could have shot us both because as far as he was concerned, he had not capitulated and Germany had not made it a formal deal.
Woo,
But
wow.
then God takes care of people.
Yes. Goodness.
It's unreal the way things happen. I also have to tell you about Sammy. I told you a minute ago about how close we were.
Yeah.
Close buddies. He was an A&M, a year ahead of me. But war comes along, he gets a commission, but ahead of time, doesn't even have to graduate, goes over to the Philippines, now become a cadet to be a pilot. I get a letter that said, you're not about to become a pilot without me. So he comes home, enrolls, enlists in that. His first flight, he and his instructor are hit by a solo street there while he was being trained. And they say he died doing what he thought was best. He wanted to be a pilot also.
Yeah. That's great.
There's strange things about how people want to do certain things and sometimes you don't. But think about it. And I keep having to say, pray, ask God's direction in
Yes.
your life.
Amen.
Every one of us, every day, have to depend upon God. If we were just good.
God's in control.
Thank you again.
Woo!
And I took 1 swallow of a rum and Coca-Cola, which was a popular drink during World War II, and
Yeah.
Zelda had one too. She said, we sure spoiled a good thing.
Good for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate each and every one of you making the effort to be here on my 90th birthday. It's been a wonderful life.
Happy birthday
To you, happy birthday.